Right, the 2024 MotoGP season is over, and what an amazing year it's been. And with the end of the year, I think it's time to look at my predictions I made at the start of the year. Now, I didn't make a predictions video at the start of the year, however, just before they set off for practice in Qatar, I wrote down some predictions. So I'm going to take a look at them now, and I'll be honest, I'm scared because I don't remember any of these. The only one I remember is I said Marc Marquez would win the championship, and that's obviously not what's happened. So, I'm a bit scared to look at these, but let's get into it. By the way, we're going to score this in a way where the amount of places I get a rider wrong by is how many points I get, and the aim is to get the least amount of points as possible. So if I predict the rider to finish third and they finish fifth, that's 2 extra points. And the aim is to try and get as little points as possible, a bit like golf. But I'm going to try and do this in a way in which I'm going to do this one at a time, and we'll start from 22nd. So who did I put in 22nd? Ooh, right. Before we've got this, I've written down, I don't know if you can see this. Shock result, Acosta podium. He got 4 this year. I don't think it was really a shock considering he got one in his 2nd ever Grand Prix. So while I did predict a Pedro Acosta podium, it's not really a shock result. However, 22nd, I've got Takaki Nakagami. Where did he finish in the end? He finished 19th. So I'm 3 places off of that. In the end, Nakagami did quite well. He beat both the Repsol Hondas, which I did not expect. And he beat Augusto Fernandez. He did better than I expected, but clearly he didn't do good enough to stay in MotoGP. 21st, I went with Johann Zarco. Oh dear. He finished 17th in the end, so I'm 4 off with that. But Zarco was actually very impressive this year. He was by far the best Honda. He got that bike in some stupid places towards the end of last year. He had a very good season. So yeah, 21st, I was a bit off with that one. Right, 20th place now. Who have I got? Miguel Oliveira. Ooh, that's a bad one. He finished 15th in the end. This would mean I would have had him finishing below Raul Fernandez, which of course didn't happen. Despite Oliveira missing 5 races, is that through injury? Yeah, 5 races through injury. And he still finished ahead of Raul Fernandez. This was a bad one. I can only assume that I would have thought he'd get injured, which he did, but a few standout results helped bump him up to 15th in the championship. So yeah, this is another bad prediction, so I'm 5 off with that one. We're already at 12 points after 3 people. This is not going well. Right, who have I got 19th? Joan Mir. He finished 21st in the end. So my best prediction so far, Joan Mir, he had another poor year. Constant crashes once again. He did beat his teammate, which is something which I didn't predict, so I guess there's that. But yeah, 19th would not have been a good year, and he's somehow done even worse than that, so... But 19th is, once again, another one wrong. In 18th place, I put Augusto Fernandez, so I successfully predicted him to be beaten by all the KTMs. He finished 20th in the end. I've got all the championship results in front of me. It seems like Fernandez only got 1 race in the top 10. That's a shocking year. He got completely battered by Acosta. But in the end, 18th, yet another wrong prediction. 2 off this time. 17th place, I went with Raul Fernandez. He finished 16th in the end. So only 1 off this time. Raul Fernandez started the season really well actually, when he was on the GP23. But as soon as he got the upgraded bike, he seemed to just completely fall off. I don't know what happened. In the end, this is a pretty good prediction. It's just I did predict him to beat Oliveira, which didn't happen in the end, obviously. 16th place, I have Alex Rins. He finished 18th in the end. I'll be honest, I did not expect Alex Rins to have this bad of a season. I sort of knew I sort of knew that the Yamaha would be a bit crap, which is why I presume I put him in 16th. But Alex Rins had a really bad year. Constant injuries and just constant bad results in general. He's had quite a few good qualifyings this year, but every single time he just goes down about 5 positions in every single start. In the end, I don't think too many people would have predicted Alex Rins to be this far down, so I don't mind this prediction. 15th place, Luca Marini. This is a bad one. Of all the riders who raced across the entire year, Luca Marini finished dead last and 22nd, so I'm 7 places off with this. I just didn't expect him to have such a pathetic start to the year. It took him until Germany to score his first point, and even that was only after Fernandez got a tyre pressure penalty. He picked it up towards the end of the year, but my god, that first half of the year was embarrassing. And yeah, he finished 22nd. I clearly expected him to do a lot better because he showed in his days at VR46 he was meant to be quite consistent. And to be fair, he was quite consistent this year. He was just at the back all the time for the first half. This is a bad prediction. +7. It's not looking good. Right, we've had 8 riders and I still haven't got a single one correct. Can I get 14th correct? I went with Fabio Quartararo. He finished 13th in the end. Not the worst prediction, and I think if Quartararo was a bit worse of a rider, he would have finished 14th. But Quartararo is obviously a class act, and he's dragged it up to 13th. Fair play to him. Obviously, we knew that Yamaha would be crap, but Quartararo managed to get some really solid results out of it anyway. 13th place, I went with Alex Marquez. He actually, I believe, he finished 8th in the end. He actually had a really good season. He ended the season really solidly, which dragged him up to 8th in the end. He's actually ahead of Morbidelli in the standings here, which is a bit embarrassing for Morbidelli. But yeah, Alex Marquez, good season from him. Nothing spectacular, he didn't get the sprint wins that he did last year, but he'll be happy with his season. Apart from Marc Marquez, he's just a bit of a freak. He was the best of the GP23s. Good season from him. But of course this does mean another bad prediction for me because I'm 5 off here. 12th place. Pedro Acosta. This isn't a good one. He finished 6th in the end and he only lost 5th place on the last lap of the last race. Pedro Acosta, I expected him to be good, but I didn't expect him to be this good. He's blown everyone's expectations out the water really. And 12th was seriously underestimating him. I mean, the fact I predicted a podium for him to be a shock result says it all really. So I'm 6 places off with that prediction. This has gone a bit badly so far. Some of these predictions near the middle have been pretty atrocious. Okay, 11th place, who have I got? If I can scroll. Jack Miller. He really underperformed this year. I expected him to get at least like a couple podiums at least, to maybe, maintain the form he had last year. No. Jack Miller, especially in the first half of the year, was shocking. I'm still amazed he's got that Pramac Yamaha seat, to be honest. But yeah, 3 places off. It's not the worst prediction, but I would never have predicted him to be this bad this year. 10th place now, I've got Maverick Vinales. He got 7th in the end. This is such a weird season for Vinales. At the start of the year, he looked phenomenal, and I even made a video talking about could he potentially win the championship. In the end, he finished 7th, which seems about right for his season, and it's not the worst prediction. But yeah, this was the most Maverick Vinales season ever. And I'm also surprised that I predicted him to finish above Aleix Espargaro. That's a poor one from me. Oh my god, let me type. 9th place now. Oh my god. This phone's being such an awkward. Right, 9th place. I've got Franco Morbidelli. He finished 9th. I've got one right after 13 attempts. Good god, that took a while. But yeah, Morbidelli, after the first 3 races of the season, he looked atrocious. But he has turned it around somewhat in the second half of the year. But considering he's on a GP24 and considering how fast that bike is, he's had a poor season. He's done just about enough to earn his seat next year, but he's still not had a great season. But 9th ended up being a perfect prediction, so I would take this. 0 points added for once. But 8th place now. I went with Fabio Di Giannantonio. He finished 10th. I'm quite pleased with this prediction, actually. Di Giannantonio actually had quite a good year, and I think if he didn't get that mid-season injury, I think he would have gotten 8th place. I did not expect him to beat Marco Bezzecchi though, but I think that's down to Bezzecchi not performing to my standards rather than Di Giannantonio being better than I expected. But yeah, he's had a really good year, and I'm glad that I somewhat saw this coming, so although I'm 2 places off, I'm not upset with this prediction. Right, 7th place now. Aleix Espargaro. He got 11th in the end. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't see this coming. Espargaro, he's old now. He's retired this year. I don't know why I didn't expect a bit of a drop-off this year. In 2023, him and Vinales were very close together in the championship, so I don't know why I didn't just predict Vinales to finish ahead of Espargaro, considering Espargaro's been declining for a few years now, considering he's ancient. So yeah, it's a bit of a poor prediction really. 6th place now, I went with Brad Binder. He got 5th in the end, scraped it on the last lap of Barcelona. Man, why did you have to overtake Bastianini? You could have just stayed in 6th and helped me get this prediction right. But in the end, Brad Binder has had a very solid, consistent year. He's not had many standout results. He's only got the 1 podium to his name. But, well, Acosta's been going with the win it or bin it method. Brad Binder's been very solid and consistent. And 5th place is a pretty good prediction. Alright, 5th place, I went with Marco Bezzecchi. He got 12th in the end. This is my joint worst prediction. Bezzecchi really had an underwhelming year. I expected him to somewhat continue the form he had last year, where he finished 3rd in the world. I thought he'd take a bit of a slight regression into 5th as the competition around him got better. No, he's had a shocking year. 1 podium to his name, multiple DNFs in races where he looked quite good, and just some very underwhelming pace compared to his teammate. It's been a bad year for Bezzecchi and a season I did not see coming from him. So yeah, this is a poor prediction, 7 places off. However, we're going into the top 4 now, and I've noticed that the top 4 in the championship are all the ones that I haven't predicted yet. So I successfully predicted the top 4, but have I got them in the right order? Let's take a look at 4th place. Jorge Martin, oh god. Jorge Martin in 4th, that's a bad one. I don't know what I was thinking with that. I guess I must have just predicted that after his championship disappointment he'd fall away, had a slow start to the year. If anything, it's been the complete opposite. From race 1 he was on it this season. He's a deserving world champion, he's been phenomenal this year. 4th place, that's a shocking prediction. Really, behind Bastianini? That might be my worst prediction so far, you know. 4th place for Jorge Martin. Did I really not see him mounting another title challenge? That's a bad one. Right, 3rd place. Enea Bastianini. He got 4th in the end, quite close to Marc Marquez in 3rd, but in the end, it's the sort of season I would have expected from Bastianini. He got a few race wins, but also at times just didn't have the pace of the top 2. I see why he's lost his Ducati seat, because he just isn't on the level of Bagnaia. Yeah, it's the sort of season I would have predicted from him. An improvement on last year when he's back to full fitness, but seemingly just not good enough to win a championship, and he's lost his seat because of it. So 3rd place, not the worst prediction, it's just a bit annoying that he did end up getting 4th in the end after sort of bottling it in the last race. Right, we've got the top 2 now, and I know for a fact that I predicted Marc Marquez to win the championship, which means Pecco Bagnaia I predicted in 2nd, which is my 2nd prediction I got right. I'm happy with this one. I did have a feeling that after last year Bagnaia would lose his championship battle. It's just I predicted the wrong man to beat him to it. So obviously, like I mentioned in 1st, I've got Marc Marquez. He got 3rd in the end. And to be honest, this comes down to the GP24 being a much better bike than I expected. If Marc Marquez was on that GP24, I'm convinced he would have won the championship. But he wasn't. He was on a slower bike, especially for the first half of the year when you're still getting to grips with it. It took him a while to get going, and that's why he's not really come close to winning this championship. Marquez has had a really good season, to be fair, and I think my prediction for 1st was just me overestimating him a bit, and I wasn't expecting the GP23 to be that much slower than the GP24. And Bagnaia in 2nd, I'm happy with that prediction. I had a feeling he'd be dethroned by someone, I just did not expect it to be Jorge Martin for some reason. I'm still annoyed at that prediction, you know, that's so annoying. How did I predict him to finish 4th? Behind Bastianini? That's shocking. Right, so that's all the riders' predictions done. Let me just quickly add up the score which I got. In the end, I've ended up with a score of 63. Just under 3 positions wrong for every rider on average. Not the worst set of predictions in the world, but I don't know what I can compare it to. I guess all I have to do is just see how I go next year, and we'll see in hindsight whether I look like a genius or not. I had a few alright predictions, I got 2 correct in the end. I would have expected a few more, but it is what it is. I didn't get any too horrendously wrong, but Bezzecchi and Marini were the 2 that stood out as the worst predictions, really. They just had super underwhelming seasons. However, before we end this, I do remember I also predicted the Constructors' Championship and the Teams' Championship. So let's quickly have a look at that. Look at the Teams Championship first. Starting from the bottom, we've got LCR Honda in 11th. They got 10th in the end. Trackhouse in 10th. They finished 9th. Repsol Honda in 9th, and they came rock bottom by some way. That's shocking by them. 8th, Yamaha. Got that one spot on. 7th, Gas, spot on. 6th, Aprilia. They came 4th in the end. 5th, KTM. They came 6th in the end. 4th, VR46. They came 5th. 3rd, Gresini. Got that one right. 2nd, Pramac. Got that one right. And 1st, the Red Ducati. Got that one right. So I believe that is... Let me just add them up. So that is 5 out of the 11 teams which I got right in the end, which is pretty good. It seems like I did just predict the Ducatis to completely wipe the floor with everybody here, predicting the Ducatis to finish in the top 4. In the end, VR46 let everyone down. But yeah, not terrible. And finally, the Constructors' Championship. I got Yamaha in 5th. That's a strange one. I have a feeling I didn't know how the scoring worked. I assume I did that just because they have 2 bikes rather than 4. That's on me not knowing how the score works. So I assume I've got Honda in 4th, yep. And then Aprilia 3rd, which they got in the end. KTM 2nd and Ducati 1st. So I've got 3 of the 5 constructors correct. I don't know why I didn't predict Honda to be last. Like, I could clearly tell by my rider and team predictions that I knew they'd be the slowest. I don't know. But overall, I think I'm quite happy with these predictions. I got most of the teams and riders in and around where they'd be, with the exception of a few. Of course, there are a few stinkers in there, which I'll have to take on the chin, and I'll have to think a bit harder about this next year. I do remember I sort of rushed this out a bit. I didn't put too much thought into this. But yeah, those were my 2024 predictions. Let me know how your predictions went in the comments section below. I'd be very intrigued to hear how I've done compared to you lot. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got a good amount of videos coming out in the next few weeks, so subscribe if you want to be updated. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.